The kingdom of Goryeo was founded in 918. It unified the Korean Peninsula by subjugating Silla and Hubaekje. The name Korea is derived from the name of Goryeo. It was first used in the 5th century when Goguryeo shortened its name to Goryeo. Goryeo was established by Wang Geon, a general of noble Goguryeo descent. He was born in Songak, now modern-day Kaesong in North Korea. Goryeo also used the names Samhan and Haedong, meaning east of the sea. Wang Geon was the son of a wealthy merchant and local chief in Songak. He was a general and prime minister in later Goguryeo, also known as Taebong. He led several military campaigns against Hubaekje as well as Silla. He helped the poor and conquered people who were forgotten by Silla rulers. It is said that the people saw him as a venerable leader and generous soul. He was appointed by Goguryeo, the king of Taebong, as prime minister in the year 913. Goguryeo was a former monk and the founder of Taebong. He proclaimed himself a Buddha in his later days, but he was far from being enlightened and good. Instead, he was a bloodthirsty tyrant. As a result, he was overthrown by 4 of his own generals. They chose to install Wang Geon as king of the newly minted kingdom of Goryeo. Wang Geon was crowned in 918 and made his capital Goguryeo, which was Kaesong's name at the time. Wang Geon promoted Buddhism as Goryeo's national religion and laid claim to the northern parts of the Korean Peninsula and Manchuria. As the successor of Goguryeo, he considered these parts his rightful legacy. According to the Goryeo-sa, Pyongyang, the ancient capital of Goguryeo, was in ruins. Wang Geon ordered his subjects to repopulate it. There was an official decree making Pyongyang the western capital. He was known as someone who sought cooperation first and foremost. He forged alliances and marriages with local clans rather than conquer them by force in order to bring them under his control. The Goryeo-sa was composed around 100 years after the fall of Goryeo during the reign of King Sejong of Joseon. It was compiled based on sources that are no longer extant. It consists of 139 volumes. In 927, Gyeonghwan of Hubaekje attacked Shilla's capital Gumsong and executed King Gyeongge of Silla while he was partying at Posokjong Pavilion. Gyeonghwan established King Gyeongsun as puppet king of Silla and then turned his whole forces against Goryeo. Wang Geon planned a strike against the advancing forces, but suffered a terrible defeat by losing 2 of his closest generals. He quickly recovered and defended his burgeoning kingdom against attacks from Hubaekje. King Gyeongsun of Silla surrendered his kingdom to Wang Geon in 935. Gyeongsun addressed Wang Geon as the son of heaven, and he was made a prince. Wang Geon married Gyeongsun's daughter. Wang Geon had 6 queens and many more wives because he married daughters of every local leaders that he subjugated. Wang Geon married 29 women and fathered 25 sons and 9 daughters. The same year in Hubaekje, Gyeonghwan's son, Shingum, with the help of 2 of his brothers, overthrew their father. Gyeonghwan escaped to Goryeo and asked Wang Geon for help. Wang Geon welcomed him and gave him land and slaves. The following year, Gyeonghwan, who just joined Goryeo, invaded his former kingdom with the help of Gyeongsun. Hubaekje fell and Goryeo united the Korean Peninsula. Gyeonghwan died the same year. In 938, Goryeo subjugated the kingdom of Tamna on Jeju Island. However, it kept its local autonomy until its full annexation by Joseon in 1404. Wang Geon gave titles and land to the rulers and nobles that he defeated from Hubaekje and Silla. He did that to secure stability and unity throughout his kingdom, which is something that was sorely missing in the later years of the kingdom of Silla. In 926, following the dissolution of Palhe by the Khitans of the Liao Dynasty, Palhe's last crown prince, Wang Geon, and members of the ruling class sought refuge in Goryeo. Wang Geon warmly welcomed them because he felt a strong familial kinship with Palhe. Most of Palhe's refugees could trace their origins to Goguryeo. The Khitans, who destroyed Palhe, were strongly hated by Wang Geon. The Khitans were a para-Mongolic nomadic tribe from Northeast Asia. They inhabited parts of modern Mongolia, Northeast China, and the Russian Far East. Wang Geon lived the remainder of his life seeking revenge on them. In his 10 mandates to his descendants, Wang Geon stated that the Khitans are no different than beasts and should be defended against. In 942, the Khitans sent an embassy and a gift of 50 camels to Kaesong. Wang Geon famously exiled the ambassadors to a remote island in the kingdom and allowed the camels to starve to death by attaching them under the Manbu Bridge. Wang Geon credited his success in creating the Goryeo kingdom to his faith in Buddhism. He sponsored many temple building projects, including 10 new Buddhist temples in his capital of Kaesong. With the unification of the later 3 kingdoms of Korea in 936, Goryeo unified all the peoples of the Korean Peninsula. In comparison, Silla unified half of the peninsula since the northern part was ruled by Palhe. So starting in the year 936 and up until 1948, the Korean Peninsula was a single unified state. Many Koreans look up to Wang Geon's example for a way to unify the peninsula again. Wang Geon died in 943 and was given the posthumous title of Taejo, meaning Great Founder. As mentioned earlier, prior to his death, Wang Geon produced a list of 10 mandates that he wished his successors would follow. There's a possibility that this list might have been a forgery made in the 11th century and not actually proclaimed by Wang Geon just before his passing away. One popular theory is that it was written during Hyunjong's reign, the 8th ruler of Goryeo. 1. Buddhism is the base of the state. Honor both Sun and Gyo Buddhism traditions. 2. Do not allow the construction of temples unless they are in accord with Korean geomancy. 3. The eldest son should succeed to the throne. If he is unworthy, choose the next in line, and so on. 4. We have always followed Tang China. Do not follow the Khitan. 5. The state is founded on good geomancy. The site of Pyongyang is crucial. You must visit it every 4th year for 100 days. 6. Maintain the Palgwan and Yeongdeung festivals. Yeongdeung is a lantern festival. Palgwan is the assembly of the 8 prohibitions dedicated to the worship of the spirits of the land, the mountains, and the rivers of Goryeo. This ritual was also performed in Silla by the Hwarang. 7. Rule like the classic kings. Be fair. Take advice judiciously and do not overtax the people. 8. South of the Cha Pass and beyond the Gum River, the people are as difficult as the terrain. Do not give them any major appointments or integrate them into the royal family. Here he's basically referring to the people from the former kingdom of Hubaekje. 9. Practice no favoritism. Pay fair salaries and always take care of the army. 10. Always be on one's guard. Read the classics and take the past as lesson for the present. Study the text against luxurious ease to constantly hone thyself. Wang Geon's first successor was Taejo of Goryeo. He was the second son of Wang Geon. His reign was marked by power struggles and conspiracies among his brothers and half-brothers. He died from mercury poisoning in his bath. Wang Geon of Goryeo was the third son of Wang Geon. During his short reign, he tried to reduce the power of various in-laws, but he lacked support. He became paranoid that people inside the palace were conspiring to kill him. He went insane. Just before dying, he signed a royal decree to make his brother the next king instead of his son. During his short reign, in the year 946, there was the eruption of Mount Paektu, also known as Changbai Mountain. According to the Goryeo-sa, thunder from the heavens drum was heard. It's also cited in Japanese records that it was snowing white ash and thunderous sounds were heard. It is known as the Millennium Eruption, and it's one of the most powerful volcanic eruptions in recorded history. It's classified as a VEI of 7 out of 8, meaning it had an ejecta volume of at least 100 cubic kilometers. It is recorded that King Jeongjong was so terrified that he pardoned and set free some convicts. Paektu-san is known as the birthplace of Dangun in Korean mythology. There is little historical sources on what might have been life during this eruption, but knowing that life in that part of the world was tuned to the heavens, there are little doubts that it would have been seen as an ominous sign from all inhabitants. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up if you liked it. Stay tuned for more History of Korea videos.